Today I'm reading from the book All the Women of the Bible. And today the story I'm reading is The Ephraimite Levite's Concubine and the Price of Honor. Whatever were you thinking? Her grandmother demanded. The girl shrugged and reached for another of the sweet grapes. Don't just shrug, explain. Unless, of course, you really didn't have a reason. Didn't have a reason, the girl repeated, stung. I most certainly did have a reason. The best. That Ephraimite you sold me to simply didn't love me. He insulted me. My honor was at stake. Ah, now we're getting somewhere, her grandmother said with satisfaction. You're really angry with us, not your husband, and you're taking it out on him and shaming us at the same time. Very mature, dear, just like your dear mother. I'm not like Mother, and you know it, the girl answered, eyes flashing. I never did a thing to distress the man you sold me to. I just... Stop right there, Missy, her grandmother snapped, her tone icy. You were not sold to that good Levite from Ephraim. He asked your father and me for your hand in marriage as his second wife. He offered the customary bride price, and you consented. You couldn't wait to get on that mule and ride out of here. The girl pursed her lips. What her grandmother said was a truth she could not deny, nor in truth did she really want to. She nodded. That's true, grandmother, she said, her tone conciliatory. But at what happened after we got to Ephraim that none of us foresaw, and that's why I came back to Bethlehem. So what happened? Her grandmother asked again. The girl was silent. Tell me, love. Maybe I can help you. Oh, grandmother, the girl said, tears forming in her eyes. It was just so terrible. I've never been so humiliated in my life. He still loves his first wife. He went with her. He ignored me. I was dishonored. Well, child, what did you expect? Did she vanish the second your sandal crossed the threshold? Did he send her out to live in the orchard? Her grandmother asked her, not quite able to believe what she was hearing. I didn't expect him to go near her. I mean, there I was, his brand new bride. He was supposed to be finished with her. So what was she still doing there? And if he still loved her, why did he marry me? He greeted her with the biggest smile and warmest hug, as if I'd disappeared or was some piece of furniture or something that he didn't even see. I tell you, my honor simply couldn't stand for it. How a man, even a husband, deals with his own wife, and she is still his wife, is no concern of anyone else, not even of his second wife. And it certainly has nothing to do with her honor nor his, declared the old woman. In fact, you ought to be down on your knees in gratitude for such a man. What? Exclaimed her granddaughter. Gratitude for being ignored? You won't always be a brand new bride, dear one, her grandmother reminded her. Someday you may be in the position of having to welcome a new wife to the household and of wondering what will happen to you. His first wife must have been very worried when you stepped through the door, thinking maybe that she would be dismissed or sent to live with the mules. They do that, some of these hillsmen, or so I've heard. Oh, said the girl. I never thought of that. You need to, said the old woman. But look what he did. He went out of his way to reassure her that her place was safe, that he still loved her, that she was still his wife, and need fear no such ill treatment. And I think he thought you'd understand that, would see the need. Certainly it never crossed his mind that you would think yourself unloved. I'm sure he intended no insult to you. But, the girl began. No but, granddaughter, declared her grandmother briskly. The way he treated her is the way he'll treat you when it's your turn to step aside and make way for his new bride. Isn't that worth being grateful for? If anything, he honored you in letting you see how he still values her. He married you because you're beautiful and sweet-tempered, I think, and that's the girl he was trusting would understand. And you didn't, did you? The girl shifted on her stool, but her eyes on the straps of her right sandal. For her time, she was silent. Then, as if her grandmother had said nothing at all, she continued her complaint. You keep referring to our household, grandmother, and being open to the new one crossing the threshold. What household? What threshold? The house my husband brought me to was a tent. Did it leak? Asked her grandmother interestedly. I was worried about that. I was wondering about that. No, it didn't leak, said the girl through gritted teeth, but it didn't have separate rooms or doors you could close either. No, there we all were, crammed in together. I had no privacy at all. Living like that is beneath my station. It dishonored me, she finished triumphantly, sure she had made an unbreakable case. Her grandmother gave the exaggerated sigh of one whose patience is being severely tried. Good thing you weren't born when your mother and father were, she said dryly. You'd never have survived. Our family only moved up to a house with 3 separate rooms when you were born, and most of the neighbors thought we were putting on airs. When I was a girl, moving into a house was a big step up. So honor has nothing to do with it. It's luck. Honor has to do with how you accept what comes to you, and on that standard, you, my girl, have dishonored your husband. Frankly, I'm ashamed of you. Grandmother, sputtered the girl, now seriously upset. So now we know why you ran away and came home to us, said her grandmother briskly, and have stayed here 4 months. But tell me, granddaughter, what happens now? I mean, what did you think would happen? The girl's shoulders drooped, and she suddenly looked like the little girl she had been a year ago. I thought he'd come to get me, she said in a small voice. I thought he'd understand why I was angry and would come to appease me and would put that other woman aside for good. But he didn't, said her grandmother, and I sincerely doubt he will, love. I fear you've disillusioned him, shown him how spoiled you are and how unpleasant you can be. He may come, but that will be to demand back the bride price he paid us, or I miss my guess. And just how do you think we'll be able to pay him? We use that money for the business, to keep it from failing, and we've had no return on it yet, at least not enough to pay back the Ephraimite. Then what will happen to me? The girl wailed. Her grandmother paused. I don't know, she said finally. Obviously, another marriage is impossible, and it looks like as though you've ruined this one beyond repair. But if by some miracle he should come to make peace with you, and should actually want to take you back with him, I'd say go. And don't even turn your head toward Bethlehem, lest he send you back here and you learn what a real loss of honor is. Make up your mind to show him nothing but gratitude and obedience from that moment on, or you will really be ruined. I'm running out of time, so let's go on to part 2.